Well, there's trucks to my right and trucks to the left. So that probably means that I'm at a truck stop, you know. And how I got here, I found a small truck stop. Couldn't find anything on my truck stop directory. So I quickly downloaded tracker path from Google Play. I had it on my previous phone, and after I got this phone, I never got down to it, you know, downloading that app. And that one showed an extra truck stop, which was not shown in the print version in the truck stop directory. And it's a small truck stop, you know, on 17, right before the not too far from the border with New Jersey, because there was a TA on I-84, but you know, my permit, I'm supposed to stay on 17, even though it was a few miles, but I just didn't want to, you know, go out of my way. So yeah, I found there was a restaurant, you know, parking, some cheap, you know, truck stop with a gas station, and so that's where I spent the night. And then in the morning I waited for the permit, because I-87 before New Jersey, just like 10 miles, it's toll. It starts at exit 16, and then to exit 15, I-287, you need a permit. So like 9 o'clock I got that permit, the last one, and I just drove 17 south to 87 to the border with New Jersey, 287, then what was it, 80, I-80 east, and then 280, and then drove east, and then I took I think it's US 21, basically Highway 21 south. And there was a construction on the ramp. It was so narrow, there's like concrete barriers. I stopped the truck because there was like a lineup before the very complicated intersection with lots of lights. And I went back and I removed my flags, because the flags were sticking out like 2 feet on each side. I knew I would break them. So I took them off. And look at this guy. Check out the angle between the trailer and the truck. Oh, it's because this guy just stopped. It's a very small truck stop, actually. There's an entrance over there in front of this truck, right? And I went in there looking. There was some spaces in there, but I didn't like them too much. So I go here, and all this area was, you know, all these trucks are, you know, fueling. So I went through the scale, and as I was standing there, this guy from this spot was just leaving. There's a truck stop right there. I never was sitting so close to a truck stop, so I just went like this with my nose over there, and then just backed in here. And my tires are touching that concrete thing in the very back, because yeah, and I'm still sticking out because my wheels are you know, in the very back. See, I'm further away, so of course now these guys are turning. They're always very close to me. That's why I don't like to sit like this. I always try to find somewhere where I can, you know, bring my truck further down, which usually is possible when it's parking in the middle, you know, like like rows in the middle, not at the back. And so yeah, so I got to that port, like a terminal, a very small terminal. Inside the gate, took me a while to figure out where the entrance was. I was sitting there, and there's like signs, you know, you have to stop, put your flashes on, because it can be very difficult to turn around after. And I was looking on the side, there was like 2 entrances, and I finally figured out. One said, oh, look at this one. One said the RO, RO-RO. And I figured, okay, a roll, that's something like a roll on, roll off, you know. I think this guy is still blocking everybody. He just stopped there, went to sleep probably, I don't know. And DT Grantham Trucking, Goldsboro, North Carolina. This is the guy in front of me with the reefer. So anyway, and I went in, and there's like two huge cranes sitting right next. Oh, that's gonna be my thumbnail. Beautiful. Okay, move a little bit further. Perfect. So we're gonna use this as a thumbnail of my video. So anyway, there's two huge cranes, and I go inside and I ask them, can you guys offload this with a crane? And the guy looks at me, he says, it's gonna be very expensive. What, it doesn't run? I said, well, it runs, but the steering is all messed up. The rear tracks keep turning by themselves, you know. I would really prefer that you guys take it off with the crane, and there's connections on the top, right? Like those eyes would be real easy. And they said, no, it's gonna be probably like $2,000. I said, forget that. Okay, so I went, dropped my trailer, took my chains off, and I knew that it would not start. So I climbed on the top of this hideous machine, pushed the button, boom, and it died. All right, I call my boss and say, you know, we have a problem. Okay, let me call our customer, see if he can send a mechanic. All right, and then I go inside, and they have this 1.5 hours lunch break, of course, all ports, you know. So I go back to the truck, do my IFTA meanwhile, which I forgot to do yesterday. And then I go back in and I say, you guys have any way to boost the machine here? And he says, how many volts do you think is needed? Like, how did they boost it, you know, when you were picking up? I said, because I told him, I said, this machine, we had to boost it every morning. And he said, I explained that it was like a small pickup truck and with a little generator in the bed. And he said, oh, probably 24 volts. Okay, sit tight. I said, okay, so I'll be in the truck. So 15 minutes later, a pickup truck shows up with something in the back. Yeah, some kind of like a generator. And I open the rear hood of this machine. It's like a vertical. And a good thing that we figured out with this other guy from my company who came to help me to load, that you have to use a little winch there. You know, you open the side door and you have to flip like a valve, and then you put a metal stick in there and you kind of like a jack, you know, and you pump it, and then this rear hood kind of like opens, and only then you can get access to the batteries. So if you don't know how to open it, it's all hydraulic, but like manual hydraulic. You wouldn't be able to boost it, right? So at least it's cool that I remember this, how to get that rear, you know, rear door open. Oh, he has a cool Peterbilt. Look at his trailer. What is this? Some kind of a specialized, probably mover. Yeah, they move stuff here. So maybe I should use this one for a thumbnail. What do you guys think? An International or Peterbilt? The sky looks good on this phone. I'm telling you guys, I really love this LG G4. Amazing. It's like a little camera. And so I don't want to bore you to death, but basically I still have my 2 hands, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 feet, 2 eyes, 2 ears. So because this time I figured out a way to steer it from the bottom. Because you know, it just occurred to me, wait a second, if this machine is so customizable, it has controls everywhere, and you can lift the machine from the side. You don't have to be on the top to, you know, you can maneuver adjust the height using the controls on the side. And I decided to give them take a closer look at them. And because now I can read those diagrams, you know, they were a bit confusing because there was like 4 dots, each dot representing a track. And sure enough, I see that little picture with like a square with 4 dots, and there's a switch, you know, like a turn switch. I mean, sorry, not a turn switch. There was like two buttons. One points with dots this way, like arrows, and the other points this way. So I figured this is it. So I can, if I can climb on the top, start the machine, put it in a very low gear, like, you know, you flip that switch on the top, going back, and then you just slightly pull the switch so that it just moves like 1 inch an hour, you know, very, very slowly. Then I can control the tracks, right? And what I had to do this time, I removed my ramps. Thanks God they're removable. See, this is one of those cases where you need to remove them. And I just moved them closer to the center of the trailer because the tracks on this machine were pretty narrow. And that's it. And I raised it as high as possible so that the knives, those bits, don't touch the floor. Everything was clear, and it started moving slowly. And my first surprise was, because the steering is all screwed up basically, right? So when I push the button to maneuver, like the front tracks are straight, I adjusted them from the top and I left them like that. And so I was trying to steer with the rear tracks, which were now basically in the front, right? Like the machine was going backwards. And I pushed the button, the tracks start turning. As soon as I release the button, they start turning the opposite way. So I was doing like this. I'm sweating like a pig. I feel my legs are shaking. It was so much stress, I'm telling you, like, because I don't want to hit the kill switch, like the red button, because then I might not start the machine again because the battery is pretty much screwed up. And it keeps messing up my ramps because the ramps were not secured. They're pretty heavy, right? So I just pushed them and they were sitting next to the big pin that I hook up to with the trailer. So they were not supposed to move, but because the tracks they kept turning, so they were moving one of the ramps. And I'm thinking, uh-oh. I'm telling you, I was like, you know, it was a shaky moment. And then the machine stops. It was crawling. I kept steering. It was still on and then I look on the side, and one of those metal panels sits on the floor. I raise it, it goes back down slowly. I try to use a bungee cord, too heavy. And the machine still doesn't move. And I cannot adjust the speed from the standing on the road. I have to climb on the back. I mean on the top. And then I bend my head and I look underneath where the bits are. The cutting bits. And they're in the floor like this. So I hit the kill switch because, you know, I cannot have that, right? Because those things are so damn sharp, they would just rip my trailer apart. I, you know, hit the red button. And then I go on the top, I start it, but I, you know, put it in neutral. Then I climb down and I raise the top. Like the front was already raised as much as possible. It couldn't go any higher. That thing, the drum does not raise. You only regulate it, adjust it with the machine height. And so I raised the rear, which was actually the front now, sitting in the rear of the trailer, as high as possible. And then I go underneath. Yep, now the bits are like this off the floor. Okay, so I climb on the top. So I put it slowly in, you know, in the gear, very slow crawling speed, and I climbed down, and I kept pushing that button because the tracks keep turning. It's like a nightmare, you know. And then the guy, when it was off the trailer, just, yeah, those bits now have like 4 holes, like they're not through holes in the floor, but they're basically like a dip, as if somebody took, you know, like a spoon. The good news is that it could have damaged the metal. It could have touched the frame, and then it totally screwed up. But wood, it's nothing, you know. At least, you know, it didn't fall off. It didn't rip off my ramps. But if you remember, before I had the dozer where the track was moving sideways, you see the same story. It's very risky for your equipment to deal with machinery that doesn't work properly. I dropped it off and the guy says, oh yeah, park it near the fence. I said, you want to drive? He says, no, you drive. Okay. And I was standing there, I just backed it, and those stupid tracks keep turning in the back, and somehow I made it, shut it off, and there was a guy there unloading cars, because it's like a car terminal mostly. And I saw some ugly old machinery, like there was a mine truck, a couple of other trucks, but mostly cars, and all beat up, probably insurance write-off cars. And one guy is just looking at me with his mouth open, because this machine is so loud, with these tracks. And that's it. Yeah, the last adventure is I had to cancel the bond. These guys don't know where they cannot give me the address. Oh, you cannot miss it. Go this way, this way, this way. I said, how far is it? Oh, just a couple of miles. Okay, I find it actually on my Google Maps. I put in USA Customs, Port Newark. Okay, found it. Got the address, put it in the GPS. And it sends me in the wrong entrance where there's container trucks only. And there's a fence between these buildings. You cannot get in. So I had to turn around, talk to the security. He says, yeah, you need to go back. And with a huge truck like this, so it's not easy anyway. So I turn around, I go back, and I see the sign says parking for this building number for the customs. I go in there, there's like a gate. I push the button. The guy says, yeah, can I help you? See, I'm going to customs. Okay, I'm going to open the gate. Okay, open the gate. And I look inside, and all I see is cars, because it's a government building. But I see there's lots of room, so I figured, I can somewhere go in, then back, and do like a, 3-step maneuver. I go in, I park my truck, grab my paperwork, I go inside, and this guy, the security guy that sits, he was the one controlling the gate. He says, you the guy with the low boy? I say, yeah. Oh, you cannot park there. You have to go back. I said, where do I park? I don't know, but park near the fence. I said, sir, I just have to go up, get a stamp on my bond, and I'll be out of here. No, my boss already called me. You cannot be here with a truck. You need the patience of an angel. I didn't say anything. I said, okay, go back to my truck. Spend 20 minutes, shuttling back and forth. Finally, I'm out of there. And he told me I can park near the fence. So right there in this little kind of like a driveway, not on the main street, because there's like a crazy traffic, these container trucks over there, because it's all mostly container port. These guys keep flying, So I parked somewhere near the fence, put my flashers on, walked back to the building. And the security guy, he sits there, and he's like a retired guy, maybe in his like 70s or late 60s. And he's drawing something, and I look, and he has a picture of an airplane, and he's coloring it. I'm not kidding. It's like a paper figure of an airplane, and he has a pencil, and he colors it. Okay, I said, where's customs? 3rd floor, sign in here. Here's your visitor badge. All right, I go there. What do you have? Boom, 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 stamp. I'm out of there like 5 minutes. I could have done it with the truck sitting there, but they were upset. I guess they never saw a big truck in there. But there was lots of space. I just basically backed between the cars in one of those rows where the cars, drive. It's like a huge parking. It's like airport parking. So all is good. So now I'm Loves, somewhere in New Jersey Turnpike, 1 hour away. Like 1 hour away from Newark. And I gotta pick up this Kobelco, 50,000 pounds, Kobelco SK210E excavator. Goes back to Canada. Pretty much right to my area over there, near Cambridge. It was too late today, but I called them. There's a phone number here. I called them, and the guy says, yeah, we open tomorrow, Saturday, from 8 to 3. So beautiful. I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow. And my dispatcher already sent me a New Jersey permit, because it's oversized. I don't know how wide it is, but at least it's overweight. And so New Jersey only, and it's 5:45 now, so I don't think I'm gonna get anything else. And they said it might be one of those cases where you have to wait like 72 hours from the moment customs receives the paperwork. It's like when you export a car, Sometimes they have the same rules for used machinery. So I don't know when I will be able to cross, but at least, you know, I'm so happy that milling machine is off my trailer with minimum damage, just cosmetic, no big deal. And the most important thing, that the president of this company, Mr. SERGEI DRATCHEV, is safe and sound, and so we can continue making more videos and hauling more loads. Oh, Kabelka, look at this. That must be my load. Probably somebody already picked it up. If you can see, okay, let me see if I can zoom in here. Oh, wow, I can zoom in. I'm just, you know, using the touch screen on this phone. This phone is amazing. That's a Kabelco singing a low boy. Huh. This is the first time I'm using a zoom on this phone. So pretty much that's what I'm picking up. I hope it's not my my excavator. But we'll find out tomorrow. One last thing I want to say is that I asked the guy, I said, why you don't want to unload it with a crane? I understand you said expensive, but you have cranes everywhere here, right? Like, how are you gonna load it, right? You're gonna load it with a crane. It just probably goes in the hold of the ship. And he says, no, all this stuff you see here near the fence, and mostly they were trucks, like I said, he says all of this will be driven onto the ship. And I just thought to myself, you know, I'm glad that I won't be here to see it, because I can only imagine how much trouble they will have with that machine trying to drive it in a straight line on the ship. So that was my day, you know, very long day. So finally I can relax, go and have some food at the truck stop, and my new adventure begins tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Have a good weekend, guys. I'll try to... I couldn't film inside the port, by the way, because there was a notices everywhere. No photography, no video. So I don't want to break any serious rules, you know. So, but I'll try to maybe make a vid tomorrow when I'm loading this excavator. Take care.